Plus, we'll hear from manager Craig Stammen. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today, the Padres take on the Los Angeles Angels in the first game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup tonight for the Angels, right-hander Jose Soriano, and for the Padres, right-hander Matt Waldron. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside Angel Stadium, just up the freeway here in Anaheim. A lot to do in the next 50 minutes. You'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. You'll hear from tonight's starting pitcher Matt Waldron, and you'll hear from Padres reliever Adrien Morejon. Plus, in a few minutes, we join Tony Gwynn Jr. for a breakdown of today's game. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Well, the Padres are 13-6 entering today, and this road trip, they are red hot. They've won 8 games in a row, the longest win streak in the majors in the early part of this season. They've won 11 of their last 12 of their past 14 games, and they've won 4 consecutive series. Padres looking to win 9 straight games for the first time since May of 2021. Meanwhile, the Angels are an even 10-10 through 20 games entering the year. They're coming off a 4-game series split in New York against the Yankees. Angels winning big yesterday, 11-4 in the Bronx. Matt Waldron makes his season debut after beginning the year on the IL. Waldron had a medical procedure that took him out during spring training for nearly a month, with Nick Pivetta hitting the IL earlier this week. Waldron has been called up to take Pivetta's spot in the Padres starting rotation, and we get our first look at Matt Waldron here in 2026 tonight. It was quite the homestand at Petco Park, the series finale against the Mariners yesterday. Let's run it back.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
A scoreless game in the second inning yesterday against Seattle. The Padres offense got it going in that second inning. A couple of runners on base for Luis Campusano.
Here's the 0-1. Campusano lines it into left field and a base hit. Sheets on his way home. Padres have the first run of the night, and Luis Campusano keeps on hitting. An 8-game hitting streak, and it's 1-0.
Later in the inning, the Padres loaded the bases for Ramon Laureano. His ground out brought home the Padres' second run. The other runners moved up to second and third base. That put 2 in scoring position for Fernando Tatis Jr.
2-2 to Tatis. The pitch. Fernando swings, lines it into center field, a base hit. Campusano has scored. Cronenworth's on his way. He's going to score. That's a 2-run single for Fernando Tatis Jr. and a 4-0 Padre lead in the second.
Score stayed 4-0 for a while, in large part because Walker Buehler was really good. 5 scoreless innings to begin his night, but with the Padres still leading 4-0 in the 6th inning, Buehler got in trouble. Cole Young hit a leadoff single from the number 9 spot. Brendan Donovan followed with another. Cal Raleigh was next for Seattle.
No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Raleigh swings, lines it over Sheets. That's a fair ball up the right field line. Cole Young comes in to score. Donovan on his way to third base as Tatis' throw goes to second. An RBI single for Raleigh. The Mariners are on the board 4-1, and 3 straight hits to begin the 6th for Seattle.
That was it for Buehler. Padres went to righty Bradley Rodriguez out of the bullpen to face Julio Rodriguez. Rodriguez hit an RBI single. It was 4-2. With the bases loaded, Padres went to Adrien Morejon. He got a couple of big outs to get out of the inning, strand the bases loaded. Padres still had a 4-2 lead. In the bottom half of the 7th inning, Manny Machado provided a little bit of breathing room.
First pitch coming, and Machado swings, pops it up shallow center. Young, the second baseman, back, kind of twisting and turning, and he can't make the catch. Fernando will score, and it's 5-2.
The good old infield in comes back to haunt the Mariners.
Padres had a 5-2 lead going to the 8th inning. Jason Adam, a scoreless frame in the 8th, and in the 9th inning, it was time for guess who? Mason Miller.
The 3-2 pitch taken at the knees. Strike 3 called. He's going to challenge it.
Batter is challenging the strike ball. Why not? I don't think it's going to matter, though.
He's walking back to the dugout. ABS confirms it. A perfect ninth for Mason Miller. A perfect homestand for the Padres. They have won 8 in a row, 11 out of their last 12. A 7-0 homestand capped off by Mason Miller's 6th save of the year, in which he strikes out the side. Final score here tonight. Padres 5 and the Mariners 2.
8 consecutive wins, and now the Padres take the show on the road. We'll see if they can keep it rolling here in this series opener in Anaheim. As we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:38 p.m., let's check in with Tony Gwynn Jr.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Tony, let's start with a look at today's starting pitching matchup. Matt Waldron making his season debut for the Padres. Jose Soriano on the mound for the Angels. Soriano's been terrific. We'll get to him in a second. But for Waldron, first time we see him in the major leagues this season. Tony, in spring training, before the medical procedure, he looked really good. The results at AAA, really good. What will you be looking for from Matt Waldron here tonight?
First, I want to say how cool it is to actually be staring you in the face as you're doing this. Usually, you're just a voice in the atmosphere. I'm actually looking at you as we do this interview, so that's pretty cool. In terms of Matt Waldron, listen, he came into spring training and had a different idea in terms of how he wanted to approach it. Little did we know he had added a couple miles per hour to his fastball, which I think changes things for him in a different way. And he was throwing the knuckleball less. It was more of a secondary pitch than it was the feature. And what we saw in spring training was him dominate a few starts. And all he's done in the regular season down at AAA is dominate the starts that he's had down there. And so the Padres are in need of a pitcher who can come up and give him some innings, given the situation with Nick Pivetta. And Matt Waldron's going to get the first crack at it, and we get a chance to see what it looks like at the big league level here today.
And we get to see that knuckleball as well here tonight. Thought it was a good question to Craig Stammen pregame, how that knuckleball might play with the ABS system tonight. Kind of interesting in that sense as well. On the other side, Tony, Jose Soriano on the mound for the Angels. Man, this guy has been just electric. He's been the best pitcher in baseball so far this season. Ton of ground balls, ton of strikeouts, likes to really bury that sinker down in the zone. What are the keys tonight for the Padres offense against Soriano?
It's a tough one, right? Because he is a sinker baller, and he's in the zone quite a bit, and that can lead you into a game in which he's at like 80 pitches and he's sailed through 7 or 8 innings because you're beating the ball on the ground. And so it'll be interesting to see the Padres approach. The Reds got him up to about 106 pitches. They eventually got into that bullpen, which I think is where you want to make your bones made or your money made here, is to get into that bullpen. We'll see. It'll be interesting how they could approach it, in which they may be a little more patient first time through and then try to kind of decipher where they go from there. But Soriano's got the type of stuff. And that we mentioned the sinker a lot, but he's using the four-seam fastball a lot more this year, exposing maybe the upper portions of the zone when a team starts to kind of hone in on the bottom part of the zone. And it's worked as the best pitcher in baseball right now based on his ERA.
Tony, I thought you and Jesse had a really good conversation on yesterday's broadcast about Fernando Tatis Jr. He's still searching for that first home run of the season, but you wouldn't know it with the way he's been swinging the bat and the not just the productivity of his at-bats, but his approach, the way he's just been getting on base, driving in runs. What have you seen from Fernando the last week or so?
All of what you just said. And I go back to last year when he went into kind of a power outage, if you will, and had to figure out different ways to affect the game. And he did that a lot by finding his way on the base pass via walk. A lot of times it was the single that got him on there. And I think because he's gone through that, there doesn't seem to be any panic about his game at all. And I think another year of maturity, obviously, I think is showing itself. He has been the same guy really since spring training started. And we haven't seen a waver in his mindset or his attitude or the way he's carrying himself. He looks like a true pro right now, the way he's handling it. I have no worries about the homers. I think that'll come, and when they come, they're going to come in bunches. But I've been very impressed with Toddy, what Toddy's been able to do so far. He's hitting the crap out of the ball right now and really not getting any love for it. And so he just has to continue on that pace. We see so many guys get into that kind of groove, and then all of a sudden they're trying to do more, and then all of a sudden that leads to a longer slump. We haven't seen that from Toddy. He's been able to kind of stay within himself, taking what the pitchers are giving him, and I have no doubt that the homers are going to come.
Finally, Tony, some sad news earlier today. Garrett Anderson, longtime Angel, 15 years here in Anaheim, key member of the 2002 World Series team, passed away at the age of 53. It was announced today. They'll honor him here tonight in Anaheim. I know your playing days crossed over a little bit. You had a chance to meet him a couple of times. Your thoughts on Garrett Anderson?
That was sad news to see that this morning at the young age of 53. It immediately made me think of my father, who I lost at 54, and my heart goes out to his family and his kids, because certainly losing somebody like that, you can't prepare yourself for it. In terms of my experience with him, I got to meet him a couple times through my dad as he was coming over to maybe have a conversation with him, and I just remember him just being, if there was a definition and a picture of slowing the game down and really having just an effortless swing, GA's face would be right there. And I think it's only right that they honor him today, because he was a stalwart for this organization for a very long time. And it's crushing to hear the news this morning that he passed away.
Yeah, terrific player. In fact, they have GA drawn into the outfield and center here tonight. A lot of ceremonies here for Garrett Anderson before the game, and I'm sure throughout the evening. Tony, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up in a little while. Thanks so much.
See you later, Sam.
Hey, see ya. I'm waving. We're waving. I can see him looking in the eyes during our pregame conversation. That's Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:38 p.m. Yes, promptly at 6:38 p.m. here at Angel Stadium in Anaheim. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Much more to do on our pregame coverage as the Padres go for a 9th consecutive win. They are rolling, and they take the show on the road here tonight. Our pregame coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the Eco.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here from Anaheim as the Padres get ready to take on the Los Angeles Angels in the first game of this 3-game series. The crowd filing in here at Angel Stadium, the Big A, as the Padres look for a 9th consecutive win. Jose Soriano on the mound for the Angels tonight. He has been terrific so far this season. He's probably been the best starting pitcher in baseball to this point against right-hander Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer, making his season debut, called up from AAA earlier in the day, replacing Nick Pivetta in the starting rotation, and should be a fun one here tonight for game 1 of this 3-game series. Mike Trout has been red hot for the Angels over the course of the past few days. We'll talk more about him later, but as we get ready for this series opener, let's go downstairs and hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Craig, you guys have been playing some great baseball. How good does it feel to take that momentum from the homestand and bring it on the road trip with you?
Yeah, we made up for the first homestand with the second homestand. Felt really good to play well at Petco and carry the momentum we had from the last road trip into that one. And now, it's always tough to go on the road in the big leagues, and we get another opportunity with this road trip, 3-series road trip.
Yeah, you guys keep finding ways to win games. It seems like, I don't want to say hitting on all cylinders, but you're hitting on a lot of them right now. Is there a certain part of the game right now that you feel especially good about or especially proud about what the guys are doing?
Yeah, I feel really good about how we're competing, and just not giving up as we saw in that second game against Seattle. We continue to take good at bats. We're playing great defense. The pitchers are attacking. So all those little things of just like the little competition aspect and not giving in and just trying to put our best foot forward. Even though we make mistakes, we keep getting after them. So as long as we keep doing that, it's hard to do over 162, but more often we can do that, the better off, I think the results will go in our favor.
How much do you think it's just because of the experience that a lot of your players have now? They've been through tough times before. They've experienced that before. Does that help in terms of just staying calm and keep doing what you need to do on a daily basis?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Experience is a great teacher. And we've got a position player group that's played together for quite a while now. And I think that helps a lot. And it builds on that, how are we going to beat this team together type mentality.
Matt Waldron going for you today. You got a chance to see him in spring training a little bit with the new approach that he has. What did you think of that, and what are you expecting to see out of him today facing the big league hitters?
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball great in spring training, and he's continued to do that in his rehab journey through El Paso. So looking for more of that. Excited to see, him break out his pitch mix. That's just a little bit different than what it was in years past, and I know he's excited to get his first crack at it, and so are we.
He's very excited about it. How important is it for a pitcher to feel like he has a certain level of ownership about what he's doing and excitement about how he's actually approaching it?
Yeah, I think you said it right there, having your own ownership of what you're doing out on the mound. I know for me personally, I felt that when I was shaking off and calling my own pitches and I had 100% of trust and conviction in what I was going to throw, whether it's the right pitch or the wrong pitch, it often worked out better for me. And at least I felt better, at the end of the day, that I did everything I could to, try to get the result I wanted. And I know he's starting to feel that way too.
Has there been any discussion about the ABS system and how it might affect the knuckleballs that he's throwing? Because on those pitches, it seems like everybody might be guessing on those.
Yeah, I think the ABS might be guessing on it. I don't know. We'll find out tonight.
Craig, Fernando's still searching for that elusive first home run, but his quality of at-bats lately have been really good. They've certainly been very productive. What have your thoughts been on Fernando's at-bats as of late?
Yeah, great. He had a great, kind of finish that homestand. The base hit last night, the line drive up the middle, that maybe been one of his best hits that he's had thus far, 2 RBIs. He's just coming up with big hits and big situations and making big plays like he did out in right field last night. So just playing baseball. He's a baseball player. He's not a home run hitter. He's a baseball player, and he's doing a great job of that right now.
What's the next step for Canning after his outing yesterday?
Yeah, he's I think he went 2 2/3 last night, 67 pitches, so a lot of pitches, not that many innings, but got some good work in. This is his spring training right now. He's probably in the middle of March, if we could guess, and hopefully keeps feeling good after each outing like he did this last time. He'll throw a bullpen here, get to visit his old teammates, and then get him back out on a few more rehab starts.
Been around the game a while. You've seen a lot of really good pitchers. Have you ever seen anything like what you're seeing from Mason right now?
I have not personally. No, he's pretty dominant. and it's fun to watch. I'm glad he's on our team.
How many times have you faced Mike Trout in your career?
I faced him one time back in 2012. It seems like ages ago, but it seems like yesterday to me. I was lucky that ABS didn't exist then, put it that way. And he got called out on a 3-2 up and in fastball that was probably not a strike. But it goes down as a K in the Stammen category. So, I'm happy I didn't have to face him again until spring training, and so it's good for my record books.
What do you think of the play?
Yeah, exactly.
He just did against the Yankees.
Yeah, he's a great hitter. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the best of our generation. And like I said, as a pitcher, I was lucky I only had to face him one time. The results would have been much different if he'd have faced me a few more times. But he's a great player, a great person, a great, ambassador for baseball. And it's fun to see him back healthy again and playing at his best. I think it's good for all of us. We enjoy it. And he's going to be a great challenge for our pitchers tonight, getting to face him when he's hot.
Soriano's been throwing great for those guys. Another sinker guy. I mean, he has other weapons also. But did it help at all having faced some pretty tough sinker guys earlier in the season? Might it help you tonight facing what you're going to face tonight?
Yeah, it seems like every pitcher we face either has a good sinker or he's coming up with one to tackle us. So, this is one of the best ones in the game, and he's probably been pitching better than anybody in the big league so far to start the season. So, just similar to the Trout conversation, it's a great challenge for our team. We talk about loving challenges and embracing them and using them to our advantage, and this is one of those, and you go out there and compete and see what happens.
I know it's way too early, but you guys almost catching up the Dodgers. How important it is to not to have them a big lead early in the season.
Yeah, there's one thing we can control and one thing we cannot control. One is we cannot control how they play. We can only control how we play, and we're just going to come out here every day and compete. And then whatever the standings are, whenever the standings end, that's what we'll see what happens.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Craig on our post-game coverage coming up later on this evening. Let's quickly pause for station identification on the Padres radio network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hey, this is Manny Machado from the San Diego Padres. You're listening to Padres Baseball on Padres Radio Network.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
Sam Levitt with you from the Big A Angels Stadium here in Anaheim as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:38 p.m., the first game of this 3-game series. You heard from Manny there. He's cleaning up, playing third base tonight. Rest of the Padres lineup looks like this. Jake Cronenworth at second base leading off. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field batting second. Jackson Merrill in center batting third. Manny Machado at third base cleaning up. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting fifth. Gavin Sheets in left tonight batting sixth. Nick Castellanos, the DH, batting seventh. Ty France at first base batting eighth. And Luis Camposano doing the catching and batting ninth. The day off today for Ramon Laureano. Matt Waldron on the mound for the Padres here tonight. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not as we get ready for this series opener.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing, a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
Let's begin with a look at the hot category. Xander Bogaerts took an 0 for last night, but still in his last 10 games hitting .385 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Luis Camposano also in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak. He's hitting .375 in that span with 4 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs. Ramon Laureano not in the lineup today, however, does have a 6-game hitting streak in his last 8 games. He's batting .379 with a double, a triple, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. And Jackson Merrill also in the hot category in the midst of a 6-game hitting streak, batting .417 in that span with 4 doubles, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. The not category, take a look at a couple of guys. Jake Cronenworth, who did snap an 0 for 17 skid last night with an infield hit, but Jake is still hitting just .148 on the season and .120 in his last 50 at-bats. Nick Castellanos also in the not category. He has just 1 hit in his last 17 at-bats. And that's a quick look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for this series opener. When we come back, we hear from today's starting pitcher, Matt Waldron, plus a little bit later, I talk with Padres reliever Adrien Morejon. Much more to do as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:38 p.m. here in Anaheim on the Padres Radio Network.
Hello, friends. It's Woodsy here.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you here at Angels Stadium in Anaheim as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:38 p.m. Our starting pitching matchup tonight, Matt Waldron on the mound for the Padres, Jose Soriano on the mound for the Angels. Much more on both those guys coming up in a little bit. Our pregame coverage, as always, brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, like keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. Let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Well, obviously, the big news today in Padre land were the reports that the Padres are on the verge of being sold for a record price of $3.9 billion to Jose E. Feliciano, one of the co-owners of the Chelsea Football Club in England's Premier League, and his wife, Kwanzaa Jones. Sources said to multiple outlets today, the sale price easily topping the previous record of $2.4 billion for an MLB franchise. That was when Steve Cohen purchased the New York Mets in 2020. Obviously, a lot of talk on the station earlier today about all the reports today. But yes, the Padres reportedly a deal being finalized right now. That's Jose E. Feliciano and his wife Kwanzaa Jones will purchase the team for a reported $3.9 billion. That was some of the biggest news in baseball today. Other piece of news, we spoke about this with Tony a little bit earlier. Longtime Angels outfielder Garrett Anderson passed away at the age of 53. It was announced today. Led the team to its only World Series title in 2002. A terrific, terrific player, and he will be honored in a variety of ways tonight here in Anaheim. Very, very sad news. Garrett Anderson, really great Angel, passing away at the age of 53. Couple of other notes for you. Cubs putting their closer Daniel Palencia on the IL with an oblique strain earlier today. And Mets president David Stearns backed up his manager Carlos Mendoza. The Mets lost a 9th in a row today, a 12-4 loss to the Cubs at Wrigley. And David Stearns saying, I think Mendoza's done a really good job. He's putting our players in a position to succeed. He's enormously consistent, but there has been, and that was a quote from Stearns, the quote, I think he's putting our players in a position to succeed. He's enormously consistent. That was the quote. But still, obviously, a lot of heat right now on the Mets. Carlos Mendoza and David Stearns. Mets off to a rough start so far. And that is a quick look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. Let's take a look at today's injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, as far as the Padres, couple of key injuries right now. Jeremiah Estrada on the IL with right elbow tendonitis. Nick Pivetta on the IL with what was officially called right elbow inflammation. We later found out it was a flexor strain. Sounds like Nick will be out for quite some time. And obviously that is a direct result of, it directly leads to Matt Waldron pitching in today's game, making his first start of the season. So 2 very significant injuries as far as the pitching staff for the Padres there. As far as the Angels, they're missing a couple of key guys in their bullpen. Right-hander Ben Joyce is on the IL. He had right shoulder surgery. Sounds like he'll return early part of this season. And former Padre Kirby Yates also on the IL right now with left knee inflammation. Sounds like he'll be starting a rehab assignment pretty soon. And that's a quick look at the injury updates for both the Padres and the Angels as we begin this 3-game series. Matt Waldron making his first start of the season here today. Waldron had a really good spring training. His results at AAA also very, very impressive. Here was Matt on what he learned this spring and in AAA in the lead up to his season debut with the Padres here tonight.
I think just instilling the confidence and just the belief and be the best version of myself that is. And, keeping hitters off balance, but knowing when to go for a strikeout, just the art of pitching and going as deep into games as possible and helping the team win.
Matt, you had to miss the time during spring training. What's the process been like, not just getting back, but now building yourself up to get to this point?
Yeah, I just kind of pushed back a couple of weeks when I got the news that I did. And then so building back up and just taking care of my arm and my body and treating it like an extended spring training in a sense.
You had some added velocity. How's that working out for you? 12 shutout. It's working good.
Yeah, no, it's working great. And I can thank a lot of the people in this organization to come up with a program to try and throw harder. And, a lot of time it's the intent that I have and trying to throw harder is how you throw harder. So doing that has been very effective.
You were important to this rotation in 24. How do you take what you did then into however long you're here this time?
Yeah, just trying to get back to that. But at the end of the day, just taking each outing one at a time and one inning at a time and one day at a time. So just working as hard as I can. And it's a great place to be. I want to stay.
I know you never want to be here because of injury, but what does this opportunity mean for you to have this chance again?
It's a great opportunity. It feels good. Like I said, I really feel for Nick there, and nobody wants it more than him. And but it's a great opportunity, and I want to be as effective as I can.
Matt, in spring training, you were very open about acknowledging the fact that you were out of options and you were battling for a roster spot. I know the circumstances aren't ideal with Nick's injury, but is it at least a little fulfilling to know that you kind of made it through that and here you are back with the Padres?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I worked hard this offseason, and I think I'm where I'm at because of that. And, just that's how this works. You don't just magically make it somewhere. So I feel like the next step is staying here and helping this team win ball games.
Matt, it sounds like you've dialed back usage of the knuckleball a little bit. Can you kind of talk about how you're going to use the knuckleball and maybe the rest of your repertoire as well?
Yeah, I think I have really good command, so I'm going to make them respect the fastball command and attack the zone in all angles. So I feel like, in and out to lefties and righties, you're just making it as hard as possible. But going to the knuckleball, yeah, it's knowing that that's a hard pitch to hit, especially when you don't know when it's coming. So, just it's not a guarantee every time. So I think hitters can't just only look for that.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game on the Padres Radio Network.
Key number one for the Padres here tonight. Slow down the future Hall of Famer. Mike Trout had an incredible 4-game series in New York against the Yankees earlier this week. He became the first visiting player to hit a home run 4 straight days at Yankee Stadium. 5 home runs total and 9 RBIs in that 4-game series. He looks to homer in 5 straight games for the second time in his career. He did it back in September of 2022. So slowing down Mike Trout, that's key number one. Key number 2, slow down the entire Angels offense. This Angels team can score. They do a lot of it via the long ball. The Angels are averaging 5.25 runs per game. That's 3rd most in the major leagues. They've hit 32 home runs. That's 2nd in the major leagues. They're the only team with 3 players that have 5 or more home runs. Trout has 7 total. Jorge Soler has 5. Zach Neto has 5. And they also have a top 3 walk rate in the major leagues. This Angels team, they're 10-10. They can hit. Gotta slow them down offensively. That's key number 2. Key number 3, keep penning classics. The Padres bullpen has posted a 1.83 ERA during their 8-game win streak. Just 7 earned runs allowed in 34 1/3 innings. Got to find a way to keep that kind of production up tonight. And key number 4, figure out the Jose Soriano sinker. Soriano's sinker has been masterful so far this year. Opposing hitters are batting just .067 against it so far this season. Can the Padres get that sinker up here tonight? That's a big key, and those are the keys to tonight's game. When we come back, I talk with Padres reliever Adrien Morejon. Plus, we take a look at Fernando Tatis Jr. and much, much more to come as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 6:38 p.m. here in Anaheim on the Padres Radio Network.
We'll be right back to
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up in just a little bit. 6:38 p.m. That's 20 minutes from now. We send things out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. in 10 minutes. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a couple of finals today already in the major leagues. Braves beat the Phillies 9-0 in Philadelphia. Cubs beat the Mets 12-4 in Chicago. Games going on right now. Orioles lead the Guardians 6-4 in Cleveland in the 9th inning. Pirates lead the Rays 5-1 in Pittsburgh in the 8th. Giants 9, Nationals 5 in D.C. in the 9th inning. Yankees lead the Royals 2-1 in New York in the 8th. The Brewers 4, Marlins 3 in the 7th inning in Miami. Tigers and the Red Sox are scoreless in the 8th inning in Boston. Reds lead the Twins 2-0 in the 4th inning in Minnesota. Cardinals lead the Astros 4-2 in Houston in the 4th inning. Dodgers 2, Rockies 0 in Colorado in the 2nd. A few other games coming up aside from this one. White Sox and the A's in Sacramento, Rangers and the Mariners in Seattle, and the Blue Jays in Arizona to take on the D-backs. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Much more on all those games coming up later on in our post-game coverage. Well, Adrien Morejon was terrific yesterday. An inning and 2/3 scoreless, got out of a big-time jam in the 6th inning. I caught up with Adrien earlier today. Sam Levitt here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game against the Angels. And right now I'm joined by Padres reliever Adrian Morejon alongside interpreter Jorge Merlos. Adrian, yesterday, a great outing, 5 outs, got out of that big jam in the 6th inning in particular. What did you like about what you did yesterday?
¿Qué te gustó de lo que hiciste ayer, de salir de eso en base llena y de regresar como estaba?
No, en la realidad la intención mía en esa situación es tratar de controlar el daño, tratar de que no hagan tantas carreras y pues al final salió un resultado mejor, no anotó ninguna, pero mi mentalidad en ese momento es ir picheo a picheo, ejecutar mi picheo.
I think right there, I'm just trying to limit the damage as best as I can and make some good pitches right there. I think my mentality is just making a good quality pitches right there to get out of the inning, and sure enough, it happened.
Adrian, the first few outings of your season, it seemed like you were pitching pretty well, but maybe running into some bad luck. Did yesterday feel as close to what last year was for you? It kind of seemed that way.
¿Sí te parecía que ayer quizás te puedes relacionar un poco más como eran las salidas del año pasado?
Sí. Al final, pues yo no empecé muy bien la temporada, pero no, es un poco frustrante, pero al final del día es parte del béisbol, la temporada es larga y pues poco a poco uno se va ajustando y pues nada, ayer traté de ser el Morejon que venía haciéndolo el año pasado y pues las cosas salieron bien.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are tough results at the beginning of the year. Those things are going to happen. That's just part of the game. But yesterday I felt like I was back to being Morejon as usual. So, that felt really good.
Yesterday, you get 5 outs. Adam gets 3. Mason gets the final 3. Was yesterday to you a pretty good example of how special the back end of this bullpen can be?
Sí, ¿te parece que así como fue el juego de ayer, así como hizo todo el bullpen, te parece que así debería ser el bullpen de nosotros? ¿Qué te gusta?
Sí, yo creo que al final estamos haciendo un buen trabajo todos y pues nada, siempre que se dé la oportunidad de una situación como la de ayer, pues nosotros 3 estamos disponibles para siempre salir ahí a hacer un buen trabajo y pues yo siento que al final los otros muchachos también pueden hacer un buen trabajo igual que nosotros.
Yeah, I feel like, whenever you guys, whenever we have that situation, when we're ever in that spot, we know that we're able to get the outs that we need to get and be able to control the game. All 3 of us have the ability to do that, but it's not just the 3 of us. It's the rest of the guys in the bullpen that we know we have the confidence in and able to close out games.
We're joined by Adrian Morejon alongside interpreter Jorge Merlos. Mason strikes out the side again yesterday. He continues to throw up zeros. From your perspective, what do you think about what he's doing?
De tu perspectiva, ¿qué piensas que es lo que está haciendo Mason ahorita, ya que sigue ponchando a todo el mundo?
No, para mí yo creo que es impresionante, como dije ahorita, yo siento que todos sabíamos que él podía hacer un excelente trabajo, ya lo había demostrado el año pasado, pero la verdad lo que está haciendo este año es impresionante, básicamente está haciendo lucir dar ponche lo está haciendo lucir fácil porque está haciendo un trabajo súper excelente.
Yeah, I mean, we saw bits and pieces of that during the last year as well, of how well he was able to do. But I mean, this year it just seems like he's shining as bright as he can and just making everybody look, just on edge. And when they go up to plate against him, so I feel like he's been able to do things that are impressive, and everybody's impressed with it.
Finally, Adrian, you were so good last year, all-star appearance. Entering the year, what did you feel like was the next level for you? How you could build on what you did last year?
¿Qué piensa que será el próximo nivel para ti, para ser mejor? Y ya que, claro, llegaste al juego de estrella, alcanzaste muchas cosas el año pasado.
No, yo creo que no he tratado de ponerme tanto esa presión de querer hacer cosas mejores que el año pasado. Simplemente tratar de mantenerme saludable la temporada entera y pues salir a hacer mi trabajo, y yo sé que si estoy saludable y concentrado en lo que tengo que hacer, pues las cosas pueden salir mejor que el año pasado.
No, I think I haven't put any pressure on myself to do something better than I did last year. I think I'm just going out to do my job and make sure that I stay healthy the entire year. And I know that if I do that, I'm going to be able to pitch the entire year and get the best results as I did last year.
Adrian, great job yesterday. Good luck with the series in Anaheim. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for here tonight is tonight the night for Fernando Tatis Jr. He's still without a home run this season, but he does lead the major leagues in hard hit percentage at 74.1%. He reached base 3 times yesterday, including a 2-run single that capped a 4-run second inning. Tatis now hitting .467 in his last 5 games with 5 RBIs. He had 2 hits and 12 at-bats against the Angels last year. Both those hits were home runs. So who knows? Maybe Fernando finds that elusive first home run of the year here tonight. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network. When we come back, Jesse Ackler, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Padres going for a 9th consecutive win. We'll see if they can get it here tonight. Enjoy the game, everybody.
When your plumbing